Alright, hold up. There. Let's get it started.
To save the Earth.
Frisk, paragon of determination and angel of the underground.
Sometimes the world pushes us down hard, almost hard to bear. But with the friends you made along the way, maybe, just maybe, you can push back and persevere.
You already know who we are.
And we're here to research their strengths, speed, talents, and tech to find out who would win. The year was
Oh, hold up. Alright, got it.
The year was 1990X. Small town of Winnett, located in Eagle Land, couldn't have possibly imagined what was coming for them.
Crashing down from on high, a meteor rocked the town to its foundation in the middle of the night.
This impact would awaken a sleeping child, Ness, who crept out in the night to investigate the noise. Police already at the scene.
But Ness is nothing if not courageous, and would soon enough be face to face with the meteor itself after pushing through.
And in doing so would meet a beetle. Well, okay, not really a beetle. He's actually an intelligent alien named Buzz who traveled back from the future.
Buzz told Ness that in the future, the universe is devastated by the ultimate evil, a force beyond comprehension to which all life bends the knee. Gigas.
But not all hope was lost, for there was a prophecy that someone would rise up to stop Gigas alongside his friends, someone who Buzz had traveled back to find.
Yep. I bet you'll never guess what this prophesized hero's name was.
Naturally, Ness had all of no time to process any of this before immediately being thrown into a battle against a killer machine called a Starman, one of Gigas's, frankly, bizarre forces.
Not a problem, though, because as it turns out, being a hero of prophecy means you get 6 psychic powers. Well, at least after a time-traveling alien tells you about them.
For a small-town boy whose dreams never really went past playing baseball and rocking out, this was a lot to take in. It's hard to jump from plates of steak and collard greens to, well, fending off universal Armageddon.
Fortunately, Ness's newly discovered power was no joke.
Ness's PSI abilities are extraordinary, and would only grow in potency as he traveled the world to record the 8 melodies that would defeat Gigas with his friends, fellow Psychic Paula, Boy Genius Jeff, and
Warrior Prince Pooh. Wow. Someone didn't like their kid.
While he didn't have the same flashy firepower as Paula, who specialized in elemental attacks, Ness's power was vast in its own right.
Psy Rockin' can bombard foes with blasts of force. Life Up can heal him. Shield creates a barrier that protects him from attacks, and I don't think I need to explain paralysis.
But that's not all his PSI lets him do. He can read minds, teleport by building up speed, put people to sleep, move objects telekinetically, enter a trance of perfect combat skill, or
spin the wheel of Psy Flash! Will it make people cry? Hit themselves? Instantly kill them? Instantly kill Ness? Who knows? Psy Flash, everybody!
And if he's ever in a situation where his psychic powers aren't cutting it, he's not above just hitting someone with a baseball bat or a yo-yo, or shooting them with his trusty slingshot. He's got other gear as well, like Dragonite, which can turn him into a fire-breathing dragon.
Like the Pokemon?
Take a wild guess what the devs would move on to do. He also carries with him that can help him recover from damage, teddy bears that can take hits for him, a bottomless bag of snakes, and just straight up bombs. Because I'm sure that's safe.
Safety's nothing. Ness was up and out the door ASAP with learning his destiny, clearing out the most notorious gang in town and totaling a tank with, again, a baseball bat. Set back, you can perform extra powerful smash attacks to send foes flying. I do not think that's regulation equipment.
Yeah, this world is interesting to say the least. When I called Gigas's forces bizarre earlier, I wasn't kidding. Ness's enemies have included, but aren't limited to, sentient cups of coffee, trash can ghosts, a walking noose, evil taxis, melting clocks, just straight up dinosaurs, and whatever the hell Master Belch is.
This dude's just fighting anything. He's fighting literally sentient vomit over here.
Evil taxis sound like normal taxis to me, gonna be honest. That's not even mentioning the regular events of photographers falling out of the sky, or
Oh, that's where that music comes from.
the man who loved building dungeons so much that he turned himself into one. Okay, maybe Gigas has a point about wiping this world out.
Through it all, though, with his friends in tow, Ness traveled the world, finding the 8 sanctuaries that would give him the tools he needed to shut down Gigas and his evil army, including Ness's own neighbor, Pokey. From the towns of Gwinnett and Tucson, the undead-infested Threed, and the bustling city of Forside, they'd get closer and closer to completing their quest, with help from allies like Jeff's mother, the brilliant Dr. Andonuts.
Hey, you said Paulo's the elemental psychic and that Ness can't do that stuff, right? If that's the case, why does the little shit keep shouting PK Fire at me anytime I try to play Smash?
Huh? Oh, well, Paula and Pooh actually taught him some of their techniques. PK Fire can project flame, Thunder can shoot out lightning, PSI Magnet can absorb enemy projectiles, and one of his strongest moves, PK Starstorm, calls down a rain of cosmic meteors.
And so, eventually, Ness and friends would be face to face against Gigas, something only possible when Ness put his very being on the line, allowing him and his friend's souls to be put into mechanical shells that were sent back in time. If that doesn't speak to his courage, I don't know what will. By this point, he had absorbed all the power of Magicant, an entire tangible universe within his mindscape, after coming to terms with and embracing his true self.
However, even this power alone wasn't enough to overcome Gigas's might. After all, the embodiment of evil was able to send shockwaves rippling across infinite realities along the axis of time, an insanely impressive feat that dwarfs even Ness's own power. He is an eldritch existential horror dwelling beyond the bounds of human thought, his very form so abstract that his attacks were utterly incomprehensible.
But with the courage that was always within him, Ness tapped into one final source of power, the world itself. By channeling the power of the earth, albeit for only a brief minute, it was enough to launch one final ultimate attack that would destroy Gigas for good, collapsing his entire dimension.
A collapse that imploded the entire universe in a matter of seconds. Yet Ness's heightened mind was still able to pursue, acquiring speeds almost 150 quadrillion times light. But that part probably sounds pretty unfamiliar to most people, and that's because it's manga. In the original game, Gigas' fall going of power, but rather a plea that sped across the whole world for all of its people to pray for Ness and his friends' victory and safe return. A showing of faith so strong that it put the universal cosmic destroyer down for good.
Jeez, what are kids doing nowadays?
Saving the world, that's what. Ness might not be your traditional child of destiny. When all's said and done, he'll go out and play some baseball, sit down for a steak dinner, and get tucked in when it's time for bed. But despite his small-town life, there's no one more deserving of being all of the terror and trials he faced. His courage kept him going, and Ness experienced the adventure of a lifetime, forging unbreakable bonds with his new friends. And he wouldn't trade that for anything.
Yeah, even if one of them is named Pooh. Seriously, who does that to a kid?
That's gotta be like a Japanese to English mystery. Or, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that one was. I'm trying to think. I don't know, maybe it's just because it fits with the whole theme. I don't know.
The year.
Alright, now on to what's important. I gotta say, from what I'm seeing, I have to say that I'd probably say that Ness, as of right now, has more power, but I still think Frisk could pull out a dub, because I think they might have, I'm trying to think, they might be more skilled and have more hacks. I could be wrong though. Seems like Ness's hack's pretty broken.
Was 21X, and for the first time, a human fell through a cave on Rabbit and landed in the underground.
The underground was a realm of magic and monsters, sealed away by humanity after a war, and imprisoned down there by a barrier that only the combined power of 7 human souls could break.
Understandably, fallen human caused a commotion, and the name of this wayward child was Kara.
Ha! Bet you thought you were gonna say Frisk, didn't you? Nah, Kara here was adopted by the royal family. Turns out monsters are actually pretty chill.
That was until Kara and the young Prince Asriel tragically perished at the hands of humans.
Wait, is it Kara or Chara? I always thought it was Chara.
Taking both of the king and queen's children in one fell swoop. This was part of a somewhat convoluted plot involving self-poisoning and attempted mass murder, but we don't really need to get into that right now.
What we do
It says probably has jaundice right behind my head.
need to get into is that this royally pissed off King Asgore, who declared all future humans who fell were to be killed. War was back on!
And so 6 more would fall, and 6 would never be seen again. With Kara's soul having gone missing, they only needed 1 more, and one day, the 7th human fell.
Okay, this one is Frisk. Rescued from the evil Flowey by the now ex-Queen Toriel after she left Asgore for his warmongering, Frisk would unknowingly act as a vessel for Kara's dormant spirit.
See, there was a prophecy that one day an angel would fall from above and the underground would go empty. The problem was, what exactly does go empty mean? Would the barrier finally be removed, or would monster kind all be wiped out by violence?
And so, Frisk asked the question any child has to ask themselves. Should I be a pacifist, or should I use my fists?
This is where our story branches. While Toriel would do her best,
There's also the fine middle, which I took my first playthrough, which I completed, which is basically I just killed all the low level enemies and then I spared all the bosses, including Flowey, and then I just got the neutral run. I'm on the pacifist run right now. Actually, that was a good time to mention. Undertale has a lot of great matchups. Like and this also includes Deltarune, because there's Frisk versus Ness, there's Asgore versus Iroh, there's Flowey versus the Princess, there's Sans versus the Judge, there's Papyrus versus Power, there's, now moving on to Deltarune, there's Suzy versus Inosuke, there's Chris versus the Batter, there's is it Tenma or Tenna? Tenna versus Kane, which funny enough, they already did. Pretty sure it was the last episode. I'm very looking forward to their Battle Beast versus Boros episode. That will be top 10 live streams on the channel, by the way. Alright, let's get back to
best
it.
to raise Frisk as a pacifist, their true nature was in their own hands. While in an ideal world they prove to Toriel their right to leave and do so with a bittersweet hug, in others they cut her down, sometimes even accidentally.
But I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember this was during the neutral run. I ended up killing Toriel the first time, felt bad, exited the game, came back, spared her. Uh, she had some words to say before that. And then Flowey gave me some crap afterwards saying, yeah, I know what you did. And now that I'm on the pacifist run, all the characters keep referencing how they've known me before, which I like. Great job, Toby Fox.
It's supposed to genocide a whole kingdom of monsters. Well, as it turns out, monsters lost the war for a reason. Humans are sorta scary.
Humans have within them a unique power known as determination. This can mean many things. The will to keep going, the capacity.
I don't remember seeing that cutscene of Toriel, though. I'm guessing that's what happens if you trick her towards the end, like if you get her to the point where she stops fighting and then you hit her with an attack. I'm imagining that.
Of choice, or even determination, the ability to come back from death. For humans, it's all of the above.
And Frisk is chock full of this stuff. At its core, determination allows them to pick themselves up as many times as they need when they fail, over and over to succeed.
This manifests by effectively rewinding time. Should Frisk be fatally injured, or if they just happen to feel like it, I guess, Frisk can go back to the start of whatever situation they find themselves in. They, and only they, maintain the knowledge and experience of what's going to happen, and can use that to gradually...
Whoa. Are those mods? I don't remember. Maybe this is during the Jezero. I don't remember this. I don't remember Undyne having that set of armor. Those attacks also look a little off. I wonder what Ness has to counter that. Frisk coming back over and over again.
Learn and adapt to whatever problem they find themselves up against.
So, thanks to this power, they traverse and navigate the underground, dealing with the cast of colorful characters one way or another.
Should they choose to, they can tear their way through foes with a surprising variety of weapons. A toy knife, boxing gloves, surprisingly deadly ballet shoes, a frying pan, an empty gun that can seemingly be made to shoot through sheer force of will, either that or you just hit people with it, a real knife, and even mundane objects like a notebook can be weaponized.
These weapons aren't all they have. They've also got a snazzy jetpack that can double as an energy blaster, able to shoot apart Metaton, who could break through steel walls. Frisk can also keep themselves on their feet with a variety of healing foods. Monster food is actually made of magic, so they're able to gulp it down immediately. Certain foods even have additional bonuses, like sea tea, which speeds Frisk up.
Not that they really need the extra speed, given they're able to dodge lightning from monsters like Vulcan. Determination makes them deceptively strong and tough as well, being able to outmuscle towering foes like King Asgore himself.
And the more they kill, the stronger they get. If they truly go off the deep end and empty the underground through violence, Kara's dormant spirit becomes, well, not so dormant, and can take the reins themselves. At their peak, Kara, with Frisk's help, was able to reduce the entire timeline to nothing with just a single slash of their knife.
Yeah, wasn't kidding there. Deceptively strong.
Seriously, you literally can't play the game anymore after this unless you plead with Shara to go to another timeline, and then they kill that one.
This, of course, most worlds know is nothing like this, often being outright purely pacifistic and befriending their foes. The Skeleton Brothers Sans and Papyrus, Captain of the Royal Guard Undyne, the Royal Scientist Alphys and her robot, who's not actually a robot Metaton, all the way up to King Asgore.
Yeah, but would you believe us? Pacifist Frisk is just as busted as Genocide Frisk. After Flowey, who actually turned out to be Prince Asri, absorbed the human souls and became the god of Hyperdash, he'd begin trying to wipe the timeline clean, bring about the end of the universe.
And he would have been able to do it, but Frisk's determination served as an anchor point. preventing Azrael from wiping the timeline as long as Frisk kept standing. And thanks to that determination, Frisk kept standing.
They could heal themselves through the power of hope alone, and had so much overflowing determination that they didn't even need to rewind time to continue the fight. They could be totally annihilated and their soul broken apart, and they'd reform it then and there. And the only explanation for this is that their soul refused. Or, if you want to be quirky, it refused.
They were even able to survive Azrael's reality-destroying Hyper-Goner attack, which pulled in everything in the universe in seconds to wipe it all away. Frisk was also capable of dodging incoming chunks of space-time while this was happening. Given they'd be getting pulled from the furthest corners of reality, their determination would have had to have kept them moving at almost 150 quadrillion times the speed of light.
Then, as an extra screw you, upon being hit by an attack that they had no way of dodging and by all means should have wiped them out, their health points began going into decimals, then more decimals, so many decimals that they went off the screen.
Then, as quite possibly the most impressive thing Frisk had ever done, like with everyone else before then, they spared Azrael.
Why is that impressive?
Because mercy as an option fundamentally did not exist at that moment. Certain powerful monsters like Azrael, Asgore, or Flowey after he turned into whatever the hell that is, are somehow able to remove the act of mercy entirely from the equation.
Not that surprising when Flowey, who used to be way below True Home Azrael, was able to rewrite reality to his whim. Erasing the ability to spare from the game doesn't seem that crazy.
And despite this, in defiance of the very set rules of the medium they were in, Frisk was able to spare Azrael, and they simply hugged.
With a final sacrifice,
I swear to God, these games, Undertale, Deltarune, they give like the best background music. Persona 5, actually, Persona 4, pretty much everything from Persona 3 up also gives great background music, I swear. It's beautiful.
Azrael released the souls from within him, reverting to Flowey, but finally destroying the barrier, and the underground would go empty.
Of monsters, sure, but not of memories. Frisk was the angel, and by their hand, monster kind was free. The road to get there was scary, but the friends they made are ones that will last a lifetime. Sometimes it's not always clear where you're going or what to do, but at times like that, you just need to turn to the people who've got you there, and have a little determination.
I am a little worried about how the verdict's going to be because I remember they did Sans versus Judge, and I kind of disagree with the verdict there. Like, yeah, I'm happy that I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm happy that the character who won did win because that was kind of hype. But I do kind of disagree with the verdict a little bit. My verdict on this matchup is, man, Frisk has a lot, bruh. I'm still believing in Ness, though. Despite everything, I still do believe in Ness.
Okay, the fighters are ready, the numbers are crunched, and it's time to run this.
Oh my God, I recognize that one.
Okay. No!
Yeah, I got nothing.
I want to say Frisk won.
Yeah, Frisk clearly won that one. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Frisk clearly got that.
I think.
How exactly?
Yes, Frisk did win that. Thankfully, it was Frisk and not Chara.
Well, okay, let's break it down. Right away, we can draw immediate parallels between their physical stats.
Ness could harness the power of a whole universe into himself? Well, thanks to Kara, Frisk at their peak had enough strength to annihilate one, and even without Kara could shrug off similar attacks from Azrael.
Speed is both outrunning and escaping the implosion of the universe, making them dead even in this cast. His versatility was leagues. While the fallen humans certainly had a variety of weapons, they all effectively had the same end result, and their other items were simply not as reliably helpful here.
Ness, meanwhile, had tons. Psionic powers, elemental attacks, bombs, the ability to just straight up turn a dragon, the list goes on.
Combat also favored Ness. Sure, on paper, Frisk, especially in a genocide route, has had way more experience down foes, but Ness's trance of perfect skill would ensure he'd have the upper hand in a direct brawl.
So, with equal strength and equal speed, but Ness sweeping the board otherwise, how does Frisk avoid just dying immediately?
Well, they don't. But that also doesn't really stop them. Sure, they're notably disadvantaged here, but as long as there is any possibility of them winning, determination would eventually allow them to pull it off.
It may take dozens or hundreds of tries, but if there's the slightest chance of Frisk pulling through, then they can do it.
Now, that doesn't mean Frisk can beat anyone and everyone, of course, but if there's a possibility they could in the first place, then they can ensure that outcome eventually, especially given sometimes they don't even have to reload. They can just refuse to die if they feel like it in multiple ways.
So, Power of the Oath would be infinitely more powerful than Frisk, but it's only really a shot, and dodging is sort of Frisk's whole thing in a fight. Even in the event it did hit, nothing stops Frisk from just deciding, no, actually, that attack didn't kill me, thank you very much.
So while Ness did hold virtually all the cards, it was only a matter of time until Frisk got the perfect run and took him down, adapting to him like any of their other opponents.
So, then why didn't that happen?
Yeah, frankly, we should have seen this coming. Frisk was able to will the concept of mercy back into being after it got shattered and then subsequently fully erased from the game. I'm not sure why we ever thought they wouldn't do the same here.
So if they were feeling evil and thought they'd kill us all, would they be able to render the entire show unwatchable? Guess we'll never know.
Ness's versatility and skill was well beyond.
Yeah, y'all were lucky this was Ness versus Frisk, not Char versus Sonic.exe. Yeah, never do that matchup. No. Let's see. You see, this is why I thought Ness would have had this. Just because, yeah. Stronger and more skilled. Yeah. I thought Frisk would be more skilled, but it was actually Ness. Good. And Ness actually had a wide variety. But yeah. Looks like I got things all mixed up here. So they are equal in power and speed. Okay, yeah. I thought Ness was good, like Scooby-Doo as a way to victory or something. Kind of similar to how the Dragonborn did against the Chosen Undead. Yeah, another battle where one opponent could infinitely come back, but the other opponent just had so much more power. That battle was hyped, by the way. I absolutely love that one. Definitely go check that one out yourself. But yeah, that was my thought process here. I thought that since Ness had way more power, well, physical stats, I thought that he would just stomp Frisk out and then, maybe figure out a way to shut down that always come back. But no.
Frisk's own, but the seventh human's matching physicality, endless determination, and sheer refusal to die let them make friends, I suppose.
So if you went in...
Yeah, this isn't death battle. This is a fan battle. Which even in death battle, there's not always death. But this is perfect because it's more accurate.
Expecting someone to end up 6 feet under, but this tale was always bound to end like this.
This match's winner is Frisk.
I love this. I absolutely love this. Anyways, that was awesome. That was perfect.